Hello my dear students. Today we are going to discuss about water quality parameters. We know the industrial revolution in the late 18th century, the world has discovered new sources of pollution nearly every day. So air and water can potentially become polluted everywhere. The increase in water related disease provides a real assessment of the degree of pollution in the environment. Here, this video summarizes the water quality parameters from an ecological perspective, not only for humans but also for other living things. Then, what do you mean by water quality parameters? It is the physical, chemical, and biological characteristics of water. The important physical parameters of water quality are color, turbidity, taste and odor, temperature, conductivity, and total dissolved solids. We know pure water is always tasteless and odorless. Therefore, if any types of taste and odor is present, it indicates water pollution. Taste and odor in water can be caused by foreign matter such as organic material, inorganic compounds, or dissolved gases. These materials may come from natural, domestic, or agricultural sources. We know there is no guideline value for temperature for drinking water. The next parameter is color. Materials decayed from organic matter, namely vegetation, and inorganic matter such as soil, stone, and rocks impart color to the water. The guideline value for color of drinking water is 15 TCU. TCU means the true color unit. The next parameter is turbidity. Turbidity is the cloudiness of water. It is a measure of the ability of light to pass through water. It is caused by suspended material such as clay, silt, organic material, phytoplankton, and other particulate materials in water. Turbidity is measured by an instrument called a nephelometric turbidimeter, which expresses the turbidity in terms of NTU. NTU means nephelometric turbidity unit. Drinking water should have turbidity less than 5 NTU. Then what are the impacts of turbidity? It can increase the cost of water treatment for various uses. Suspended materials can clog or damage fish gills, decreasing its resistance to diseases, reducing its growth rate, affecting egg and larval maturing. Suspended particles provide absorption media for heavy metals such as lead, mercury, etc. Suspended particles absorb more sun heat. So, higher turbidity raises water temperature. Consequently, the concentration of the dissolved oxygen can be decreased since warm water carries less dissolved oxygen than cold water. The next parameter is solids present in water. Solids occur in water either in solution or in suspension. There are two types of solids: total dissolved solids and total suspended solids. It can be identified by using a glass fiber filter that the water sample passes through. The suspended solids are retained on the top of the filter. The dissolved solids pass through the filter with the water. If the filtered portion of the water sample is placed in a small dish and then evaporated, the solids get as a residue. This material is usually called total dissolved solids or TDS. That is, total solid is equal to total dissolved solids plus total suspended solids. The TDS should not exceed 300 mg per liter. Some sediment will settle to the bottom of a body of water while others remain suspended. Some solids can settle out into the sediment at the bottom of the body of water over a period of time. These are called settleable solids. Heavier particles such as gravel and sand often settle out when they enter an area of low or no water flow. The remaining particles that do not settle out are called colloidal or non-settleable solids. These suspended solids are either too small or too light to settle to the bottom. The next physical parameter is electrical conductivity. The electrical conductivity of water is a measure of the ability of a solution to carry or conduct an electric current. Since the electric current is carried by ions in solution, the conductivity increases as the concentration of ions increases. Therefore, it is one of the main parameters used to determine the suitability of water for irrigation and firefighting. The units of electrical conductivity is Siemens per meter. We know pure water is not a good conductor of electricity. The typical conductivity of ultra pure water is 5.5 into 10 raised to minus 6 Siemens per meter. For drinking water, it is 0.005 to 0.05 Siemens per meter, and for seawater 5 Siemens per meter. Here we have discussed the various physical parameters of water quality. Now we can discuss the chemical parameters of water quality. This includes chloride ion, fluoride ion, ammonia, nitrite, hardness, pH, biological oxygen demand, chemical oxygen demand, and dissolved oxygen. Firstly, we can discuss about pH. pH is defined as the negative logarithm of the hydrogen ion concentration. It is a dimensionless number indicating the strength of an acidic or basic solution. pH of water is a measure of how acidic or basic water is. Acidic water contains extra hydrogen ions and basic water contains extra hydroxyl ions. pH ranges from 0 to 14 with 7 being neutral. pH of less than 7 indicate acidity. pH of greater than 7 indicates a base solution. Pure water is neutral with a pH close to 7 at 25 degrees Celsius. Normal rainfall has a pH of approximately 5.6, that is, rainwater is slightly acidic. It is due to the atmospheric carbon dioxide gas. The safe ranges of pH for drinking water are from 6.5 to 8.5 for domestic use and living organisms need. There are two methods available for the determination of pH, electromeric and colorimetric methods. Excessively high and low pH can be detrimental for the use of water. At a high pH makes the taste bitter and decreases the effectiveness of the chlorine disinfection, thereby causing the need for additional chlorine. The amount of oxygen in water increases as pH rises. Low pH water will corrode or dissolve metals and other substances. Pollution can modify the pH of water, which can damage animals and plants that live in the water. What are the effects of pH on animals and plants? Do you know? The most aquatic animals and plants have adapted to life in water with a specific pH and may suffer from even a slight change. Even moderately acidic water can decrease the number of hatched fish eggs, irritate fish and aquatic insect gills and damage membranes. Water with very low or high pH is fatal. A pH below 4 or above 10 will kill most fish and very few animals can endure water with a pH below 3 or above. Amphibians are extremely endangered by low pH because their skin is very sensitive to contaminants. Some scientists believe that the current decrease in amphibian population throughout the globe may be due to low pH levels induced by acid rain. Heavy metals such as cadmium, lead, and chromium dissolve more easily in highly acidic water. This is important because many heavy metals become much more toxic when dissolved in water. A change in the pH can change the forms of some chemicals in water. Therefore, it may affect aquatic plants and animals. For example, ammonia is relatively harmless to fish in neutral or acidic water. But as the water becomes more alkaline, ammonia becomes progressively more poisonous to these same organisms. The next chemical parameter is chloride ion concentration. The chloride ion occurs naturally in groundwater, streams, and lakes. Chloride may enter surface water from several sources, including chloride containing rock, agricultural runoff, and wastewater. Standards for public drinking water require chloride levels that do not exceed 250 mg per liter. That is, the presence of relatively high chloride concentration in fresh water, about 250 milligram per liter or more, may indicate wastewater pollution. There are many methods to measure the chloride ion concentration in water, but the normal one is the titration method by silver nitrate. Chloride ion in drinking water do not cause any harmful effects on public health, but high concentrations can cause an unpleasant salty taste for most people. Chlorides are not usually harmful to people. However, the sodium part of table salt has been connected to kidney and heart diseases. Small amounts of chlorides are essential for ordinary cell functions in animal and plants' life. The next parameter is hardness. Hardness is a term used to express the properties of highly mineralized waters. The dissolved minerals in water causes problems such as scale deposits in hot water pipes and difficulty in producing leather with soap. Calcium and magnesium ions cause the greatest portion of hardness in naturally occurring waters. They enter water mainly from contact with soil and rock, particularly limestone deposits. These ions are present as bicarbonates, sulfates, and sometimes as chloride and nitrate. Generally, groundwater is harder than surface water. There are two types of hardness, temporary hardness and permanent hardness. Temporary hardness is due to carbonate and bicarbonate. It can be removed by boiling. The permanent hardness is remaining after boiling and it is caused mainly by sulfates and chlorides. Water with more than 300 milligram per liter of hardness is generally considered to be hard, and more than 150 milligram per liter of hardness is noticed by most people, and water with less than 75 milligram per liter is considered to be soft. Hardness is normally determined by titration with ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid and aerochrome black tea indicator. It is usually expressed in terms of milligram per liter of calcium carbonate. The total hardness in milligram per liter as calcium carbonate is equal to calcium hardness expressed in milligram per liter as calcium carbonate plus magnesium hardness expressed in milligram per liter as calcium carbonate. This is the water classification into soft water, moderately hard, hard water and very hard according to the total hardness concentration. The next chemical parameter for water quality is nitrogen. There are four forms of nitrogen in water and wastewater. These are organic nitrogen, ammonia nitrogen, nitrite nitrogen and nitrate nitrogen. If water is contaminated with sewage, most of the nitrogen is in the form of organic nitrogen and ammonia, which are transformed by microbes to form nitrite and nitrate. Nitrogen in the nitrate form is basic nutrient to the growth of plants and can be a growth limiting nutrient factor. High concentration of nitrate in surface water can stimulate the rapid growth of the algae, which degrades the water quality. Nitrate can enter the groundwater from chemical fertilizers used in the agricultural areas. The excessive nitrate concentration in drinking water causes an immediate and severe health threat to infants. The nitrate ions react with blood hemoglobin, thereby reducing the blood's ability to hold oxygen, which leads to a disease called blue baby syndrome or methemoglobin anemia. Apart from organic nitrogen, we have already learned that there are three other forms of nitrogen. These are ammonia, nitrite and nitrate. The concentration of ammonia in groundwater system is usually 3 mg per liter. If its concentration is greater than 50 mg per liter, it gives a characteristic taste and odor to water. The level of nitrite in drinking water should not exceed 3 mg per liter. Nitrite is the most stable oxidized form of nitrogen. Like nitrate should not exceed 3 mg per liter in drinking water. Another chemical parameter for water quality is fluoride ion concentration. A moderate amount of fluoride ion in drinking water contributes to good dental health. About 1 mg per liter is effective in preventing tooth decay, particularly in children. Excessive amounts of fluoride causes discolored teeth, a condition known as dental fluorosis. The maximum allowable levels of fluoride in public water supplies depend on local climate. In the warmer regions of the country, the maximum allowable concentration of fluoride for potable water is 1.4 mg per liter. In colder climates, up to 2.4 mg per liter of fluoride is allowed. There are four methods to determine fluoride ion in water. The selection of the used method depends on the type of water sample. The next chemical parameter for water quality is dissolved oxygen. It is an important parameter. It is expressed as the weight of oxygen in milligrams present per liter of water or as parts per million. The optimum value for dissolved oxygen is 4 to 6 mg per liter. The lower values of dissolved oxygen inhibit the growth of aquatic organisms. Oxidation of organic matter, reducing agents, etc. in water consumes the dissolved oxygen. So, the DO levels falls below the minimum. When the DO level falls below the minimum, it indicates pollution. Then, how will you determine the dissolved oxygen in a given water sample? It is done by iodometric determination. Firstly, the DO or the given water sample is allowed to react with the potassium iodide to liberate iodine. The liberated iodine is titrated with a standard sodium thiosulfate solution, or the dissolved oxygen is treated with the manganese 2 plus ion in strongly alkaline medium to quantitatively precipitate manganese dioxide. Then the precipitated manganese dioxide is estimated iodometrically in acid medium. Mainly, these two methods are used for the determination of dissolved oxygen. There are other methods too to determine the dissolved oxygen. Another important water quality chemical parameter is biological oxygen demand. It is the amount of dissolved oxygen used up by suitable aquatic microorganisms for the oxidation of organic matter present in a well aerated sample of water incubated for a period of 5 days at 20 degrees Celsius. The optimum value for biological oxygen demand is 1 to 3 milligram per liter. Higher BOD indicates pollution. The BOD test is empirical and semi-quantitative. Then, how will you determine the biological oxygen demand of a particular water sample? Firstly, find out the amount of dissolved oxygen in the water before and after its incubation for 5 days in the dark at 20 degrees Celsius. The difference between the initial and final value is biological oxygen demand. Then, what are the steps done before the determination of BOD? Firstly, before incubating the water sample, it is well aerated to ensure that the oxygen is present throughout the period of incubation. If it is highly polluted water, dilute the wastewater with BOD-free oxygen saturated water. The dilution water is a solution containing phosphate buffer of pH 7.2 along with some magnesium 2 plus ion, calcium 2 plus ion, iron 3 plus ion. The BOD determination procedure contains the following steps. Definite volume of wastewater is placed in 2 BOD bottles. The dilution water is added to the bottle. The mixture is saturated with air for 5 minutes. The mixture in each bottle is seeded with microorganisms. In domestic wastewater or surface water, microorganisms will be sufficiently present. But if the sample is deficient in microorganisms, they have to be introduced before incubation. This is usually done by adding settled domestic wastewater stored for 24 to 36 hours at 20 degrees Celsius. This process is called seeding. If seeding is done, 2 blanks prepared. Each blank contains dilution water and seed only. Then dissolved oxygen of 1 BOD bottle is determined at 0 time using an electrochemical method or a chemical method or a manometric BOD apparatus. This value is D0 mg per liter. The same determination is repeated for a blank if seeding has been done. This value is B0 mg per liter. Then the dissolved oxygen of second BOD bottle is determined after incubation at 20 degrees Celsius for 5 days using an electrochemical method or a chemical method or a manometric BOD apparatus. This value is D5 milligram per liter. The same determination is repeated for a second blank after incubation at 20 degrees Celsius for 5 days if seeding has been done. This value is B5 milligram per liter. Then this is the BOD calculation methods. We have already learned that BOD is the difference between the dissolved oxygen in the initial and final value. BOD for an unseeded case is equal to D0 minus D5 divided by P, where P is the volume of sample divided by volume of diluted sample. Then the BOD for a seeded case is equal to D0 minus D5 minus B0 minus B5 into F divided by P, where F is the percentage of seed in sample divided by percentage of seed in blank. The next important chemical parameter for water quality is chemical oxygen demand. It is the oxygen equivalent required for the oxidation of organic matter in water, determined with the help of a strong chemical oxidant, usually potassium dichromate in acid medium in the presence of a catalyst. Here, a definite volume of water sample is boiled for 2 hours under reflex with an excess non-volume of standard 0.25 normal potassium dichromate solution. Here 0.25 in normal means the concentration of potassium dichromate solution. In the presence of 50% sulfuric acid, 1 gram Ag2SO4, silver sulfate and 1 gram mercuric sulfate. Here Ag2SO4, that is silver sulfate, is the catalyst for the oxidation. The mercuric sulfate prevents the interference of chlorine ion by tying up as a soluble complex. Then the mixture is diluted with about 80 ml of distilled water and cooled. Then the unreacted potassium dichromate is determined by titration against standard 0.1 normal ferrous ammonium sulfate solution in the presence of 8 normal sulfuric acid using 8 to 10 drops of ferroin indicator. The endpoint is a sharp color change from blue-green to reddish-brown. The same procedure is repeated for a blank containing the reagents and a volume of distilled water equal to that of the sample. COD is calculated as V blank FAS minus V sample FAS into N FAS into 8000 divided by V sample. Here, V blank FAS is the volume of ferrous ammonium sulfate solution used for the titration of blank. V sample FAS is the volume of ferrous ammonium sulfate solution used for the titration of sample. V sample is the volume of the sample. NFAS is the normality of ferrous ammonium sulfate solution. The equivalent weight of oxygen is 8000 mg per equivalence. We know BOD and COD are the two important water quality parameters. Then what was the difference between BOD and COD? BOD is the amount of oxygen consumed by bacteria while decomposing organic matter under aerobic conditions, whereas COD is the amount of oxygen required for the oxidation of total organic matter in water. BOD involve biological oxidation process, whereas COD involve chemical oxidation process. Then, what was the difference in the determination of BOD and COD? BOD is determined by incubating a sealed water under specific temperature sample for 5 days and measuring the loss of oxygen from the beginning of the test. Whereas COD is determined by incubating a closed water sample with a strong oxidant like potassium dichromate in combination with boiling sulfuric acid under specific temperature for a specified period of time. 5 days are taken for the determination of BOD, whereas COD measurement can be taken from few days. Then what was the difference in the values of BOD and COD? The permissible limit for BOD is 30 mg per liter, whereas the permissible limit for COD is 250 to 500 ppm. The value for BOD is always lower than the COD value. BOD is capable of oxidizing natural organic detritus and organic waste in the water. COD is capable of degrading industrial sewage but does not measure the oxygen consumption of acetate. Moreover, BOD is empirical, semi-quantitative method and the results are often not reproducible. And here, the selection of microorganism used acid is important, whereas the COD is quantitative and the results are often reproducible. Another important water quality parameter is alkalinity. Alkalinity and pH are two important factors in determining the suitability of water for irrigating plants. The desirable range for irrigation water is 0 to 100 ppm calcium carbonate. The levels between 30 and 60 ppm are considered optimum for most plants. Irrigation water test should always include both pH and alkalinity tests. Then what was the difference between alkalinity and pH? We have already learned about pH. pH is the measure of the concentration of hydrogen ion in water or other liquids, whereas alkalinity is a measure of the water's ability to neutralize the acidity. Water with pH below 7 is termed acidic and water with pH above 7 is termed basic and the water with pH 7 is neutral. An alkalinity test measures the level of bicarbonates, carbonates and hydroxides in water and test results are generally expressed as parts per million of calcium carbonate. That is pH tells you whether the water is acidic, neutral, or basic, but not the buffering capacity of the water. But alkalinity tells you the buffering capacity in the basic pH ranges of water. Buffering capacity is the ability of water to resist a changes in pH. A pH test by itself is not an indication of alkalinity. Water with high alkalinity always has a pH value 7 or above, but water with high pH does not always have high alkalinity. That is, alkalinity of water is due to the presence of those types of substance in water which have tendency to increase the concentration of hydroxyl ions either by hydrolysis or by dissociation of water. The presence of salts of weak organic acids which undergo hydrolysis and consumes H plus ions of water. As a result, concentration of hydroxyl ions increases in water and water becomes alkaline. The presence of bicarbonate ion, bisulfate ion and sulfite ions in water which makes the water alkaline because they have tendency to take up H plus ions from water. Hence, the concentration of OH minus ions increases in water and water becomes alkaline. The alkalinity determination is based on certain reactions. This includes hydroxyl ion takes up a proton and to form water, carbonate ion takes up a proton and to form bicarbonate ions. The bicarbonate ion takes up a proton and to form carbonic acid, which then gives to carbon dioxide and water. The causes of alkalinity includes hydroxyl ions only, or carbonate ions only, or bicarbonate ions only, hydroxyl ions and carbonate ions, and then carbonate ions and bicarbonate ions. The combination of hydroxyl ions and bicarbonate ion is not possible because they combine instantaneously and to form carbonate ions. We know alkalinity is a measure of the ability of water to neutralize the acid. Alkalinity is classified into two types: caustic alkalinity due to the presence of hydroxyl ions and carbonate ions. Then the second is temporary hardness due to bicarbonate ions. The alkalinity is determined by titrometric method. That is, a known volume of hard water sample is titrated against standard acid using methyl orange and phenolphthalein as indicator. The color change at the end point is noted. In the case of methyl orange, a pale yellow to red is the color change. In the case of phenolphthalein, it is the color change from pink to colorless. These are the various chemical parameters of water quality. Then next is the biological parameters of water quality, which includes bacteriological aspects of water pollution, viral aspects of water pollution, parasitological aspects of water pollution, and algae. One of the most helpful indicators of water quality may be the presence or lack of living organism. There are millions of microbes per milliliter in wastewater. Most of them are harmless. It is only harmful when wastewater contains waste from people infected with diseases that the presence of harmful microorganisms in wastewater is likely to occur. A lot of dangerous waterborne diseases are caused by bacteria, for example, typhoid, paratyphoid, shigellosis, cholera. Similarly, certain species of algae cause serious environmental and public health problems. Most of the waterborne viruses can be deactivated by the disinfection process conducted in the water treatment plant. These are the various physical, chemical and biological parameters of water quality. We know water is an important element to regulate body, so drinking water should be pure and hygienic. So the proper maintenance of source of water is very much essential for safe, pure and hygienic water. Thank you.